Cryptopapa.
Everybody, welcome back to Cryptopapa, where crypto is hard, but Papa makes it easy. My name is Conan. Once again, thank you very much for clicking in for another video. This is where we talk anything related to crypto market every single day, and also we got a lot of technical analysis that our wonderful team has been doing, has been persevering every day in order to find the greatest opportunity for you to get profit as much as we do. So before we jump into the market, this is not a financial advice, so please do your own due diligence and your risk management. So please do us a quick favor, have us to like, share, and subscribe to the channel before we get into the market. So the first market of the day would be the Bitcoins, USDT. And through this chart, and just on the previous candle, you see there are lots of green candles. You can count over there are tons of them, and it's just pushing all the way, skyrocketing through the 118,000. So in this case, just 1 hour ago, a gravestone doge candle has been popping on this area. So it essentially has been rejected by the 865,000 key level of the resistance, and this could be signaling a bearish reversal will be occurring on the next coming candlesticks. So maybe it might be going all the way back to do another round of accumulation, but in this case, if we are referring to the FVG, the fair value gap, it has been successfully filled. So it has been filled up. Of course, this is just the first tasting of the fair value gap, and it might still needs a lot of time in order to push even high, or we could see that it might be doing another round of ranging over here in order to test all these important key level. So we got all the resistance from 118,000 all the way to the all-time high 122,000. And of course, if we are zooming out of the chart, this is a downtrend of the Bitcoin's movement currently, and of course it got broken off the trend line, and this is where so it got been rejecting. So it has breaking out the so it has been breaking out the downtrend, and it has holding strong at this key level. And of course, on this frame that we had framed up, this is the important support zone of the current BTC. And of course, you got a lot of ways to identify how is the trends are doing, how is the chart pattern. One of the way is using the easiest back to basic method, which is the downtrend. So you got to pull a very long trend line where it has been touching all this resistance zone. So once it got breaking off and it has been retesting, standing firmly, holding on this ground, and we can assume that once it got holding very strongly, it could be signaling a very strong upside movement, creating a strong skyrocket movement to the upside all the way to test the very first resistance zone, following by the next one. And of course, you got a lot of coming on at the top. So this is the Bitcoins. And of course, if you are interested in jumping in for a trade, you can wait until you get a very clean ranging, and when the candlestick are ready, as long as it doesn't fall below this area, okay, so as long as it doesn't fall around this area, you can potentially, get ready with your position, and we might be seeing another round of breaking up side, and that's where you can set your entry position at this 118 first resistance level, and after that we see accordingly to how is the ranging or how is the next movement of the Bitcoin. So of course, a pullback is a healthy correction for every single upside movement of the candlestick. It needs to have a proper pullback and to do another ranging, another accumulation in order to go up even further to the upside. Jumping next to the Bitcoin dominance of the day. Today is weekend, so weekend we are having a less trading as always. And of course, you can always using the weekends as an opportunity to place in some of the buy limit or even some of the position in order for the Mondays when the market has been opening on the Mondays morning, we can always see maybe a bullish momentum in most of the cases, and it might be going to have a bullish on the short-term period. And using all this chart like Bitcoin dominance and also Bitcoins, we can roughly see how is the next particular movement for all the altcoins or even all the large cap and Bitcoins, Ethereum, and so on. So on the Bitcoin dominance, just like on our very few videos back then ago, we had told you that the Bitcoin dominance are ranging inside a symmetrical triangle. And of course, using this chart, just at this level, I told you that we are looking at the 64% of the breakdown direction. And guess what? He has been following our prediction, and they are choosing the 64% of moving downwards, and it got to drop all the way one by one of the downfall all the way to this area. You see, just nice. So of course, I told you that this is a very strong support and resistance area. So whenever the candlestick has been touching on any important zones of this particular area, we can always assume that it might be either doing a retest, or even if it is a failed retest, it might be immediately bouncing back to the top. So we are still waiting. Either the Bitcoin dominance will be doing back to this area, or it will continue to falling down if let's say if it is falling to the downside, the next area that we are predicting it might be going all the way, maybe one by one, going to the 58.72%. So why do I put 58.72% as one of the important key levels on that the candlestick might be supposed to go down and do a tasting over here? So in this case, right, you can change to daily time frame chart. You see, there are so many candlestick has been touching over this trend line and back to even a long time ago. Of course, we can always judge back to the previous candlestick. You see, there are so many touching, and this could mean that this is a very, very strong support or resistant area that it needs to really put a lot of volume in order to break it down. So if you are following me on the previous video all the way to today, I had told you that for a healthy market altcoin season, it takes at least a few hundred of days for a whole circulation. And you guess what? If we're checking back to 2023 on the September, it takes about 1,000 days in order to rise up all the way to the 64% with a 30.72 trillion market cap. And of course, if the current dominance, this is just the beginning of the reversal. And of course, we need to give them a little bit of time. It's still got a lot of gap in order to fall down to even downside. And you see, there are so many gap over here. And of course, for altcoin season, it is just beginning to happen, So we do not be afraid on the current market. We need to be emotionless in order to get ourselves stronger in trading. We need to be independent in trading. Of course, we need a lot of solid technical analysis backing up on the back. We need a team that are aiming on the same direction because we want everybody to earn. And why we are so keen on checking on all these charts every day? Because we want you to understand how is the market conditions are doing, and using the dominance and also using some of the large cap like the bitcoins and ethereum. This might always give us a lot of signal that how is the altcoins are doing on the next coming days. And also and this few day, like on the previous, we had told you that this is a waxing moon and it is a full moon, and everybody was hyping. And guess what? You see so many coins are pumping so high. This is a very strong FOMO, and this is not just about FOMO. This is about our humans' behavior that sometimes this can be explained through trading. It is referred to psychological way, and of course we can always putting all these factors together in order to gain ourselves more confidence in doing trading. So Ethereum, it had recently gone up crazy all the way to the 4300s, and this is a parabolic. I told you that parabolic is a very strong chart pattern, and whenever you see a parabolic, it might be going so strong, it will be start to climb up, starting to climb up each layer by layer. And currently they are doing another base over here in order to accumulate more power. So for accumulation of the parabolic curve, it takes some time to do a ranging before it start to breaks out to another whole new level at the top. Changing back to daily time frame chart because I want you to see even more clearly on how is the market are doing. We clean this off, and if we are zooming into candlestick, this particular zone that I have framed on it is the FVG area, the fair value gap. And also there are two long upper week candles showing up. And what does it mean? It could mean that the candles should be doing another reversal first. So for this TP, this is supposed to be a resistant area that it had been challenging to break off. And you see there are 1 and 2 upper week candle. This could potentially means that it got rejected so strong that the candle has to do a reversal. And if we are using smart money concept, we can see that this is a level that a lot of people that doesn't even get has been filled up their orders, and it needs to go down in order to fill up all this gap. So we should see maybe on the next coming candle, it might be doing another triangle accumulation, who knows, just to fill up this area first at 4,068 something over this area before we see another power accumulate before it push again to the upside. And of course, this is the resistance area. We still got a lot of resistance on the top. Another one should be on. Alright, so we traveled all the way back to 2022 in order to find all the previous resistance area. 2022 marks the beginning and also the end of the NFT era, which has been, been replaced by the AI, and a lot of things are going on. So on the tech side, resistance it could be for 445,000, and another one it should be about here. So and here 4,800, the all-time high, and you see it is so near, and it might be going to challenge all this area. Otherwise, we can see a very strong reversal back to this area again before we see another round of pushing. But let's hope that the Ethereum are doing fine at this time, because this is just the beginning of the parabolic. It should have another few more rounds in order to break out. And if we are zooming out even bigger, you see this is a contraction doing currently, and we should see if it has been successfully breaking out the all-time highs. And for the 800 area, we can subsequently hoping that the candlestick should be pushing all the way to even more than 6,000 or to the 10,000. This is our predictor in this case. And if we are looking at the chart accordingly, it needs a little bit of time. It doesn't happen overnight. So I like to analyze step by step because we don't want you to give a more. So our team strategy, we like to analyze through step by step because we doesn't want to give you a false hope that if in reality from the current 4,000 shooting up to 10,000, this is unrealistic. So we need to see step by step. Our mission is we want you to report to you how is the next movement and what should we do on this occasion, how do we need to prevent, and what kind of signals or even a warning that you need to be aware of. So this is for the Ethereum today. And of course, this is a worth celebrating moment for Ethereum because it has successfully going all the way back to the 4,000. And just by using few months time, and it has already been touching to this area so fast. Okay, so one of the signals we are giving away to you is the oboe. So this is the latest oboe setup. You see, it has been putting a very clean footprint over here. If we are signaling, so I mean, if you are ready for this oboe, you can place your position now with the 6.48% of your risk on your spot trading. So if you are putting in 100 USDT, you only got 6.48% of your risk losing. We are always doing all this kind of technical for you just to reduce your losses to the maximum under a 10% ranging. Let's say it has been successfully breaking out to the entries level. We can set our first TP maybe to the 0.144 first before we tax off to another higher side. And of course, when you got your TP, remember to move along your SL to the top so that you don't lose your own capital and you do not risk your own capital for just a position, because every position is a testing. You don't all in into one single position. You need to diversify your account, your portfolio in order to gain more traction in your profit taking and also your risk to reward management. So for the oboe, this is a clear sign of the footprint left by the institution or the market maker. And also it could be going all the way back to the 0.188, but this is just a matter of times. So you need to wait patiently. It doesn't even happen on a single night. It might be doing over a week or even a month later in order to reach this level. So whenever you got your profit, you can always close maybe about 80% of your profit, and the remaining of 20%, you can just let it go. I mean, just put it and forget about it, let it just fly it on its own. Okay, this is the oboe. So always carry your risk management with you. Always move your SL. So moving next is the Magic USDT. Same, it got a very clean setup of the contraction. And this is another contraction has been doing over this area. And as long as it doesn't drop below the 0.2764, you can always be safe, but not putting in any position yet until it gets near to the entries breakout area. And because you need to always protect your risk and your capital. If you are putting your money over here, there are highly chance that it might be going to break down this stop loss area, and you need to always remember to set your stop loss so that you can protect your capital. We can accept, I mean, you can accept small losers, but not overall losers. I mean, you need to really be consistent on your trading because it's not just about winning every single day. We need to test a lot of crypto on the market because the market doesn't always move according to our prediction. This is something that you need to understand. We are analyzed for you, but you need to always carry your risk. So if it doesn't break through the entries level, you don't jump into the position. Okay, so we are still waiting eagerly for the candles to recovering back to the top. So it might take a bit of time. So let's just continue to observe the chart and we wait. So jumping quick is the resolve USDT. This is a fourth contraction we got from this chart. Looking at the latest contraction, which is given off the 4.39%, we wait for it to entering the upper part of this contraction, which is somewhere around the entries level at 0.1928 to maybe about 1/3 of the contraction at 0.1905, and you can put your limit over here and to put in a partial position. So the last but not least, we got the FIS USDT, and of course you see it's already breaking outside to the entry and it is approaching to the first TP. And of course you can buy in if you want on spot. There are still a lot of gap in order to reach to the 0.1531. Why? Because on our first contraction, you see there are a lot of footprints has been left over this area, so it will ultimately reach. But of course this is not 100% correct, and we need to always see how is the market conditions are doing, so it needs a little bit of time. But on the short while, we can expect that it might be going to the first or even the second TP. So of course remember to sell off some of your position in order to tax back your capital and some of the profit before you let it go on it on. Of course, before we end the video, you need to always take a look at the BTC versus the USDT liquidation heat map. And on the current situation, the markets are conditioning back to the downside because there are so many liquidity over here at the 116,000. So you might expect a bit of volatility might be happening soon, especially on the altcoins. So you need to always prepare your stop loss, and your stop loss is the best hedging against the market condition. And also today is weekend. Weekends are always having a less volume comparing to weekdays. So you need to always be alert over the market. And of course, you make yourself relax. You can always choosing not to do any trading on the weekend. As I told you last week, you should be going to have fun outside. You can open any position that you want, but always remember to set your TP and your SL in order to protect your portfolio. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you like it, and please do subscribe to our channel for more video. Please like and share and subscribe. And again, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you get rich, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.
Where crypto is hard, but Papa makes it easy.